Well, good morning, everybody. Mike Rains here with Remax Sarasol in the Orange County, California housing market. Welcome to the Mike Rains real estate channel here, hoping to bring value and input in the real estate market of what's going on in Southern California, in particular in the Orange County housing market. And everybody wants to know what's going on with real estate. Everywhere I go, people are asking about this. Are housing values going to plunge? Are we hitting the place where this whole housing market's going to come crashing down? And that's the headlines. That's what's going on the outside. And so I'm here to kind of help bring sense and data to the mix so that you have an understanding of what's happening out there. Values are not going to plunge. In fact, it's a fairly stable housing market. So the data does not support a housing crash on the horizon. So that's what you need to know, is that despite a softening, and so we've talked to people about what a recession is and what that means to the housing market. And a recession is actually a very good, healthy thing that has to happen. And when it doesn't happen and they kick the can down the road, that's where it becomes dangerous, because it has that built up of pressure, more and more pressure built up. And so you have to look at a recession like one of those pressure cookers. So at some point, the pressure cooker's got the pressure building, and then you have to let a little steam off into the air to kind of relieve that pressure. And over the last 12 years, the housing market has just been going up. And so having a little higher interest rates, having a little bit of a slowdown in the housing market is actually a very good thing, and it's needed. So a lot of people want to compare what's happening or potentially happening now versus kind of what happened back in 2008. And if you went through 2008, it was a pretty rough time. So I want to be able to bring you some data today and kind of tell you what the differences are between today's market and what it was back then. And the first thing is inventory. So back in the 2008, as soon as things turned, you saw a massive amount of inventory, a glut of inventory hit the market. It was so huge that it's like 8 times what it is today as far as the available number of homes. And so you drive into a neighborhood and you wouldn't see 1 or 2 signs. You would see in a neighborhood 4 or 5 signs, and then the neighborhood across the street and the one down the street, they all had homes for sale. There was, in Orange County, we're just about 3,000 homes on the market in all of Orange County for sale. Back then it was almost 20. So it was about 18 and something. And so that was a lot more homes that are on the market. And so that's a big difference. Very limited inventory today versus that. We have low demand today, but we had low demand back there. But when you combine a low supply like we have right now with a lower amount of demand, what you really have is a balanced market. There's plenty of buyers that are available for the inventory that we currently have. The other massive difference is the buyer themselves. So back then, people were getting these liar loans. They were getting no money down. They weren't having to qualify for the loan. So they had no skin in the game. Today, on the other hand, you had a lot of cash buyers, and you also have people that are putting down tremendous down payments. So you have a very good equity position. And also the lending today is very strict and tight. Some people don't qualify, and they're not giving loans just to anybody. So tight qualifications in the strict lending standards of today. The average FICO score of a buyer today is 745. That's quite a bit different. Back when I was doing loans and selling real estate back in the 2005, 6, 7, leading up to that, people were like getting loans. They had like a 580 credit score, no money down, and interest only payments. So it's like they could just breathe into a mirror and qualify for a loan. And that's not the case today at all. So with higher interest rates and cash out refinancing activity, that stuff is going down. You don't have people pulling out. Whereas before, it was like an ATM machine. People were going and refinancing as the rates were dropping. They were grabbing cash out of their house at record paces and buying boats and RVs and all these things. And that's not as much happening today. People are still refinancing to consolidate and stuff, but they're not doing it for frivolous types of things. The current national delinquency rate is only 2.8%, and that's the lowest level since they started tracking this, as opposed to back in that 2000 to 2005, it was at 4.7%. So it's about half of what it was. The other thing is right now there's $11 trillion of tappable equity in people's homes. And 37% of all homeowners right now have no mortgage at all. And there was 31% back in that time. So the number of people that have paid off their homes on the rise. And back then there was 5 trillion in tappable equity. So we've more than doubled the amount of equity that people have in their home. So what I'm trying to say is that the position of the housing market has never been stronger. So you have more equity that people can absorb these downturns in values, which really has to happen. So if we don't have this little blow off of steam, then it's just going to keep going and the affordability is out of control already. The other thing that you need to know is that the rental market, because people still have to live somewhere. So even though some of the buyers with the higher interest rates have decided to pull out of buying a home right now, they still have to live somewhere. And the rents have been on the rise, and they have been so because of the shortage of inventory. So that's what's happening in the marketplace today. We have a pretty healthy market. And so we're expecting that we're going to have this little slowdown, but it's not going to plunge. It's not going to go crashing down. So you don't have to worry about that. If you're a homeowner today, rest easy unless you actually have to make a move for jobs or something like that. You don't need to worry about it. And then there's strategies that you can employ to be able to make sure that you're priced right, the house looks good, so that you can get it sold quickly. There's plenty of buyers out there, but buyers are a little bit tougher on properties, so you have to have a good quality condition. So if you're a buyer today, you want to definitely take advantage of the pullback in prices a little bit. We're expecting no more than single digit type pullbacks over the next year. So if you see something pulled back 5, 6, 7%, that's a pretty good one. Even if you're paying a little bit higher interest rate, you're going to have the opportunity in the future to refinance that loan. So you get a little bit lower price, and you're going to be able to refinance that somewhere down the line. All these rates go in cycles, so you're going to have that opportunity to do so. And if you're renting right now, then you are feeling the pinch. So you're seeing how these rental rates are continuing to go up a little bit. And so my philosophy is that you're either building your own dream by owning your own house, or you're building someone else's dreams because you're paying your landlord's mortgage for them. So rental's good. It's a temporary fix, but the dream of home ownership is still a reality. So that's what's happening out there. So contact me if you have any questions about that. I'm never too busy to help you out in the Orange County area, and I'm never too busy for your referrals. Hope you have a fantastic 4th of July weekend coming up. And yeah, take care. We'll see you soon.